Yo, Wagwan, we're back with another video for your head tops. JJK Cursed Clash is finally released. I know some of you thought I was gone and never coming back, but I was just under embargo because I had an early copy of the game, so I couldn't do any video related stuff until embargo was finished, which is right now. So today, we're back with my longest video yet, so make sure you buckle up. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to Keith Hicks. Yeah, hopefully I'm saying your name right. You lot know I can't even say Megumi properly. But man like Keith gave me my first ever super thanks on a video, so I appreciate you, broski. Will anybody be able to beat Keith's super thanks record? Listen, if anybody does, then I'll pin your comment and make sure to give you a shout out on the next video. Today's video is basically going to be a choose your main character guide, where I'll be going over every character in the game and giving you the lowdown on what they're all about to help you decide which character you want to put your time and effort into maining. There will be timestamps in the video below so you can skip to whatever characters you're most interested in, but rest assured you're going to want to see how everyone plays because every character is so unique. I literally tested out every character for the video, so make sure you press that like button and smash the rascal subscribe button so we can get to 10k subscribers. And instead of tapping the notification bell, stick around to the end for a surprise. Enough waffling, let's get into the action. Who else to start with but Itadori Yuji? If you play fighting games, Yuji's like your standard Ryu or Jin, the main protagonist and the face of the anime. His passive skill High Gear makes him one of the fastest characters in the game and has some of the best mobility. Yuji mainly focuses on physical attacks. He has a pretty basic kit, but it's effective. You know what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He does have a projectile that debuffs the opponent's movement speed, which when used with Yuji's High Gear, it means no one can escape from you. His curse skills at level 1 deal moderate damage. He has Divergent Fist and his melee barrage attack, which is great for catching opponents that tech off guard. At level 2, Yuji unlocks his passive ability, making him a slippery customer. His cursed energy technique deals even more damage as his melee barrage adds 5 more additional hits to it. You can set up a few different combo strings with Yuji's melee attacks as this game has a lot of depth, but if you want me to do an in-depth guide on the individual characters, then make sure this video gets 1000 likes. At level 3, Yuji's Divergent Fist turns into Black Flash, which is unblockable, so he is literally a monster when his cursed energy meter is maxed out. His awakening move is 4 black flashes, which deals a ton of damage. So if you like the brawler type characters, then Yuji is the one you should be maining. This is Megumi. He is one of the hardest characters to master in the game, but fun nonetheless. If you watch my previous video, you should already know his passive skill, which is technique interpretation. I'm not going to go over it in full detail, but essentially he has a combo breaker when his cursed energy reaches level 3. He's a puppet user who can summon Shikigamis, but he got them hands on him too, so he ain't afraid to get up close and personal. With Megumi, you can support your teammates with his Shikigami, but also help extend your own combos and deal even more damage. He has 3 Shikigami, a frog, an owl, and a wolf. You want to be able to use his Shikigami effortlessly, switching between each of them and comboing for maximum effectiveness. Here's just a free pro tip that I picked up while playing Megumi. Once you summon the Shikigami, after you've made it do an action, desummon it ASAP to preserve your cursed energy. Each Shikigami offers different things. His frog can be used to set up other attacks by throwing opponents up in the air or bringing them close to you. Yes, he's got the scorpion from Mortal Kombat. His own owl can be used as a projectile, and at level 3, the owl debuffs enemy speed, making it easier to catch them slipping. He also has a wolf, which can be summoned at level 2 for extra combo opportunities. Let's not forget Megumi also has a domain expansion, Chimera Shadow Garden. So if you want to be an ace support for your team with a character that has projectiles and takes some skill to use, then Megumi is the character you should be maining. Nobara is a problem, I'll say that straight off the bat. Think of her as Sasamaru from the Demon Slayer game. I already covered her passive skill in my previous video, but she has a skill called Prognosis that lets her gain cursed energy faster on people she has hit with her nails or straw doll technique. She's a projectile heavy character, but also has melee attacks to keep her safe at close range. Fun fact, if you have the toy hammer equipped, it actually makes a squeaky sound when you hit the enemies. Her auto combo shoots out 3 nails and the final hit will stick a nail on the opponent. She does have limited range, but she has insane maneuverability because her nail action lets her float. Once you hit someone with her curse technique, they'll get an icon above their head. She can stack 3 of her straw doll techniques and 3 of her nails on the opponent, which can be activated to go off on your signal, meaning she can help a teammate when she's not even looking. This is essentially a combo breaker, which is hella valuable in a 2v2 battle arena. The more she levels up, the more damage she deals, and her awakening move Hairpin is an unblockable projectile, so good luck with that. If a projectile heavy character who supports from the back line sounds like your kind of playstyle, then Nobara is for you. The strongest sorcerer Gojo is up next, and I don't use the term lightly. We did already cover his passive skill in my previous video, so if you want an in-depth look at that, then make sure you go watch that video. It'll be linked in the end screen. His passives are 6 Eyes, Limitless Curse Technique, and Levitation. Yes, Gojo can pretty much fly in this game. He has some good normal attacks and can catch the opponent off guard by teleporting. Gojo can also see exactly how much curse energy his opponent has and not just what level they're at. His main curse techniques are blue and red. These can both be used at level 1 and get stronger as he levels up. Gojo is good at any range, but he takes a while to charge up his attacks, so if he's under pressure, you have to rely on physical combat. Otherwise, you're getting cooked. You can use Gojo's blue to restrict the opponent and then combo into red or pull them into a teammate's attack. Gojo has super armor, which allows him to be invulnerable for 1 hit. He has extra moves compared to the other characters in the game. One being at level 3, he gets access to Hollow Purple, which if you see him charging that, you need to stop him at all costs, because that thing is an actual game-winning mechanic. Let's not forget Gojo also has a domain expansion too, which turns the tide of any battle into his favor as it stuns everyone, including allies. If a big hitter with OP moves sounds like your kind of character, then Gojo is who you should pick up. The fan favorite Maki is up next, and at first I thought Maki was just okay, but after playing her thoroughly, she's actually kinda cracked. Her passive abilities are Heavenly Pact and Strike Gauge. She has no cursed energy and a unique strike gauge which buffs her movements and attacks the more you attack the opponent, so she's a melee focused character with 1 projectile. She has an omnidirectional dodge mechanic and can cancel combos into other combos, making her a great mix-up merchant. She's an aggressive brawler with a really unique moveset with limitless combo potential. You want to level up Maki as soon as possible, as she's most effective when her strike gauge is leveled up and meter is at her disposal for maximum combo mix-up. She uses curse tools, which gives her somewhat better range than a pure standard melee brawler like Yuji, and she does tons of damage. She has her awakening move Playful Cloud as well, which looks pretty cool. So if an aggressive brawler with mix-up and combo potential sounds like your deal, then Maki is who you should pick. Next up, we got my guy Inumaki, and I'll be honest, him on any team is pretty good. His curse technique is called Curse Speech, and it has 4 main attacks: Stop, Blast Away, Fall, and he has a parry attack called Don't Move and Get Twisted. With Inumaki, you have to be in the action to get the most use out of him, as his moves haven't got too much range. But if you get your spacing right, you can have a field day with him against unsuspecting opponents, and he can combo into some of his curse-speeched moves. I've seen using Stop into Fall works great, or after waking up and Tekken using the parry move. The best time to use Blast Away is when you want some time to replenish your cough medicine, as it sends the opponent far away, giving you time to refill your cough gauge. Once Inumaki's cursed energy level increases, he does significantly more damage to the opponent. But if his throat gauge is low, he can damage himself. But here's a little fun fact: even if he damages himself, he can't even KO himself. It will leave him at 1 HP, and you can continue to use your curse speech freely. Although when his gauge is empty, his moves do come out a little bit slower, so keep that in mind. I wouldn't say it's anything to worry about though. He's a great support character, and his awakening move also deals a ton of damage. So if you want a technical support character who can influence the tide of battle, then Inumaki is your main. The brawling bear Panda is up next, and he is a powerhouse character who brawls his way to victory. Think of a slower version of Yuji who can tank hits because he's beefier. He has a lot of super armor moves and can deal chip damage to opponents' guards. His passive skill lets him revive himself once per match too. He has a lot of heavy hitting moves and can transform into a literal gorilla. So if you want to go full degen on your opponents, you can by stealing your turn with his armored moves. Most of Panda's moves hit the opponent away, so you ideally use him to disrupt the flow of play. You want to tank heavy hits for your teammate and get stuck into the action with his brawler style. There's not too much to say about Panda. He's pretty pretty straightforward. What you see is what you get. So if you're the type of player who wants a powerhouse character, then Panda is for you. The more I play this character, the more I liked him. He's basically a technical version of Yuji, a strong melee character with a twist. His unique gimmick is ratio, and it takes a whole lot of precision to use him correctly. He has just 3 moves which allow him to get critical hits on opponents, and also changes the properties of some of his moves. The skill gap on this character will determine whether you're a good Nanami player or a trash Nanami player. When using his techniques, you have to hit the button again at a certain time to activate his critical hit. There's a visual cue and also a sound cue that lets you know you've done it correctly. Here's a failed attempt and a good attempt. It did take a while to get the hang of it, but imagine doing this online. His curse technique ratio will deal more damage on hit, and his auto combo moves will give him more cursed energy on hit. He also has a move that when timed correctly, instead of a hard knockdown, it bounces the opponent up. I ain't gonna go into too much depth into Nanami's kit, but just know if you're picking him up, the first thing you have to do is getting his critical hit timing down, otherwise don't bother using this character. His passive also gives him a crazy movement and damage buff, which lets his secondary curse technique, Black Flash, deal insane amounts of damage. If a technical brawler who will be hard to master sounds like your type of character, then Nanami is your main. If you thought Nanami was technical, then the next character, Aoi Todo, might melt your brain. Like I said, I won't go too in depth. I just want to showcase all the characters so you have some intel going into the game. But this guy has the most moves in the game, all because of his boogie woogie. If you do not have high IQ, do not pick this character. I repeat, if you do not have high IQ, don't pick this character, because my brain hurts after trying to remember all the combinations. Let's just say he's a mix of Panda and Nanami. He has the technical aspect of Nanami, which requires you to remember the combinations of his boogie woogie. In this game, depending on which direction you press with his first curse technique, he will either switch places with the person he's targeting, or swap places of his ally and the enemy, or swap places between himself and his ally. Remembering which direction is which in the heat of battle could get long. He also has an omnidirectional boogie woogie that lets him travel wherever he wants within reason, so he can throw a rock high in the air and swap places with it if he wanted to. Also, when he uses boogie woogie, he gets a movement buff. If you want full details on his passives, then make sure you watch the video recommended at the end. He also has the powerhouse nature of Panda, where he has a super armor lariat, and his secondary curse technique deals some heavy hitting attacks which deal a ton of damage. The only thing with Todo's boogie woogie that lets him down, I'd say, is the range, so it doesn't work at full screen. You have to be mid-range to use it effectively. If you use boogie woogie outside of the radius it works in, you will use cursed energy and nothing will happen. So again, you have to be good to use it. If a technical monster who can disrupt battle sounds like your deal, then Todo is who you should main. Next up is Hanami, and I haven't seen a lot of hype for this character, but I think Hanami has a pretty good toolkit, especially when they unlock their left arm release. Hanami's passive ability is left arm unbound, and when active, it shortens cursed energy technique generation time and reduces cursed energy consumption, so you get more bang for your buck. Hanami's moves also deal more damage. One of the most annoying moves Hanami has is the seeds move, which tracks the opponent they are locked onto and rains down seeds on the opponent's head tops. Hanami can also charge cursed energy for faster meter regain, which allows for more cursed techniques to be used. The seeds can be used for some crazy setups, including stunning opponents for easy use of awakening moves, or trapping them for combos with teammates. You have to use Hanami's awakening move to activate the left arm release. After that, Hanami will be a beast, dealing tons of damage and can get off even more cursed energy moves. This character is projectile heavy and can be a great support for teammates. If you care about plants and nature and all of that good stuff, then make sure you pick up Hanami. Next up, we have another one of my mains. Geto Suguru is that guy. His passive ability might go under the radar, but I'm telling you, do not sleep on it. It is called Special Grade Curse User, and at level 2, Geto can basically cancel into his other abilities when using cursed energy techniques, meaning he has access to combos he might not have been able to use before. This gives him extra damage and scary mix-up opportunity. He has minimal melee attacks, but that punch to the face is all you need to set up good combos with Geto. He has decent mobility, but ideally you want to be at mid-range for maximum effectiveness. His back circle move is basically an evasive, and it allows him to knock up the opponent and combo off it while retreating. His secondary curse technique tracks the opponent and deals crazy damage at level level 2. Not to mention his joint attack restricts the opponent's movements. He's a real devious scumbag with lots of different combos once he reaches level 2. So if a support character who can hit from full screen sounds like you, then Geto is who you should be maining. I'll be honest, Yuta ain't beating the allegations. So Yuta mains out there, if you're always winning, then that's great. But you're never gonna see Rika. He can chip away at his opponent's health at any time with his cursed imbuement technique, so he can be effective when it comes to dealing damage. I did a character breakdown on Yuta already, so watch that for a bit more information on him. The main thing to know with Yuta is that he actually has a win condition in this game. If your teammate gets down twice, that should be enough times to turn the tide of battle and get Rika to finally appear. Rika can easily win the game for you because she gives Yuta unlimited cursed energy while she is out. Even if Yuta dies, if he still has Rika meter left, she will respawn with him, so you don't have to hold back when Rika is out. Also, pro tip, whenever Rika is out, make sure to imbue your sword with cursed energy for even more damage. Yuta is an elite swordsman and has an ace up his sleeve which can help you and your teammate win a match with ease. If you want a game changer who has elite swordsmanship, then Yuta is your guy. This guy has the best domain expansion in the game. A true villain, Mahito has some good range and abilities that will make you vomit. Nah, literally, Mahito actually makes you vomit, bro. He's got a move where he vomits. He has two passive abilities. One is Essence of the Soul, which is when he is attacked by an opponent, depending on the amount of damage Mahito takes, he also gains cursed energy. This means if you're getting punched up, you're also profiting from it. So, hey, if you're a punching bag, pick Mahito. His second passive ability is Idle Transfiguration, meaning he can deal damage with his normal attacks, depending on how many times he hits his opponent. The counter resets after a certain amount of time though. Mahito's normals are actually very good, not just because they deal damage, but they can combo into each other nicely and have a lot of range. If you want a full breakdown of Mahito's abilities, make sure to watch my Mahito breakdown video, but he has two projectiles. One is a home-in alien baby, which debuffs the opponent's speed, making them slower. And he also has a long-range cannon type move that deals insane damage if he's allowed to charge it up. Mahito is definitely a disruptor type brawler with lots of gimmicks in his toolkit to make him a nuisance. He also has a super armored domain expansion which enhances all his moves and gives him more cursed alien babies to throw at you. If you like mischief and want to annoy your opponents, then Mahito is the main for you. This damn hunchback looking ass volcano head suits wearing Pussyo is up next, and I have to say he is actually kind of fake. He has a domain expansion and an unblockable projectile. All of his moves are projectiles. He's basically a more potent version of Nobara. He has a lot of cursed energy and can deal damage from almost full screen. He has good movement, and some of his projectiles have insane tracking. I covered his passive skills in my last video, but at level 3, Jogo gets a disgusting projectile. His second cursed energy technique, which can be charged up and deal explosive damage. Ideally, with this character, you want to maintain a mid-range distance as most of his projectiles have limits to them. However, in his domain expansion, his moves are powered up and have an extra range to them. He also burns the opponent over time in his domain. If you're a hot-headed pagan, then Jogo is definitely for you. Arguably the least talked about character. I haven't seen a single person that wants to main this guy. But don't let that fool you. He is one of the stronger characters in the game. He's just hard to use. You need some battle IQ and great awareness to use him effectively. His passive skill is called For My Brother, and this boosts Eso's attacks whenever Kechizu is around. I've done a full character breakdown on this character already, but we will quickly cover some noteworthy stuff. Eso is an annoying character with a puppet that can auto attack you if they get too close to you. He also has ranged attacks that mark enemies with blood, which allows him to use his rot technique to eat away at the opponent's health bar. This character is defo a sleeper pick, and I can for sure see him being top tier with that auto attacking puppet. Once Eso is at level 3, his game plan is to get the rot technique off and stall until the last minute before activating the technique. This will in turn deal hella amounts of damage. He's got the range and he has that technical aspect to him. If an under the radar character with top tier potential sounds like you, then Eso is the way to go. Of course, we saved the best till last, the king of curses. The S in Sukuna stands for S tier on the tier list. Sukuna doesn't have what you'd call auto combos. Instead, he has big hitting attacks that have insane knockback and deal serious damage. Most of his attacks have armor to them, so you have to watch out or counter with your unblockable attack. At level 1, Sukuna has limited range on his cursed technique attacks, but he earns cursed energy so quick it doesn't even matter. He has 3 passive abilities which were covered in my last video, so make sure you check that out at the end of the video for all of the breakdown on that. But his passives are Reverse Curse Technique, Intimidation, and King of Curses. Intimidation is one of my favorite ones as it can be used as a crowd control when things get too hectic, as it stops opponents dead in their tracks. It also hits teammates too, but if you're playing Sukuna, you don't really care about your teammates anyway. Once Sukuna levels up, he becomes even more of a menace. He gets access to Fuga and his dismantle attack, both of which have good range and AoE to them. The main game plan for Sukuna is to disrupt everything and everyone. Friend or foe, he can hit his teammates and also deal damage when using his awakened attack. So if you're teaming up and Sukuna is on your team, just beware, innit? So if you're a troll or you just want to be one of the top tiers in the game, then Sukuna is the main for you. And that is the whole cast covered. After playing with all the characters, I can honestly say every character is viable, but it depends mostly on the team composition. So try to pick characters that work well together. For example, pairing Yuta with Panda, because Panda can tank damage, and when he gets knocked down, he doesn't take one of your team stocks. That means you can get Rika without having to lose 2 stocks for the overall team. The team compositions are endless, and the game online in the 2v2 format is some of the most fun I've had on an anime game in a long time. Doesn't matter what your playstyle is, there will be a character for you in this game. Me personally, Geto and Inumaki are looking like my 2 mains off the bat. It was a bit of a longer video today, but if you made it this far into the video, then you're a certified G. If you found any of the information useful, then make sure to subscribe, as the next goal is 10,000 subscribers, and so that I know to make more videos like this. If you leave a comment on the video, then use the cookie emoji so I know you saw this secret message. And if you're watching this video on the day I released it, then come over to my live stream on YouTube, as I'm streaming the game right now. Yes, right now. If you're watching this on another day, then just watch the video I recommended here, because it covers the other characters' passive abilities in a bit more depth.